Well, my lovely bunch of coconuts, it seems that today we once again ride on the high seas for PirateBorg Ep.2. So you know what time it is. It's time to hoist the colors! So there we were, off on me brandly new built ship, trying to get to Charlotte's Cove, eating octopus and singing songs, me and Drake. Ah, good times, but how naive we were. But once we reach Charlotte's Cove, we get to recruit a crew and figure out where Albrecht makes birth, so we can track down the Maelstrom and take it out once and for all. Well, that's what we thought. Well, hello everybody, my name is Turk. Welcome back to the Grouch Couch. Around here, yes, TTRPG things, and today is PirateBorg Episode 2. Thank you so much for continuing to join me on this adventure. I hope you've had some high sea fun so far, because I know that I have. I've been having a blast right here doing this, and right up here at the top, I want to say thank all of you so much for the support that we've gotten on this series so far. I know we've only posted Session 0 and Episode 1, but I'm just blown away by it. We'll talk more about that in a second, but just thank you so much for the awesome support. It's cool shit. Now, it goes without mentioning, but you already know this, but my friends at Limithron were so kindly enough to send me some copies of this here new PirateBorg stuff for us to use in this here solo RPG campaign. That's right. So, if you want to get this stuff for yourself, all right, make sure to use the link down in the description over to Limithron shop or Drive-Thru-RPG to support the show and pick it up for yourself, my friends, because there's a lot of the stuff that we're using in the show. You should know this. It's coming from this. So heck yeah. And hey, if this series does well enough, maybe Limithron will let me come on their Ship of the Dead podcast to talk about soloing PirateBorg. That would be really cool if we could get there, you know, fingers crossed. And then of course, here at the top, we must thank our Ko-Fi supporters and channel members for supporting the show. Because of you, we get to remain authentic and awesome around here, so thank you so much for supporting the Grouch Couch. You friggin' rock, dude. Now, we do not have as much homework as we did last week, thank goodness, which means we can get into play sooner. But one of the things we actually get to do this week is we get to look at all the comments, and I'm going to show you guys the roll charts that I have put together for us to be able to use today. But first, as of me recording this, there have been 59 comments on the last episode. Insane to me. Thank all you guys for the awesome support. There's a bunch of fun stuff I want to point out. I mean, first of all, we actually filled up a full roll chart of pirate names. We actually did. We'll talk about that in a second. We do name suggestions a lot around here, and this is the first time we filled up a full D20 roll chart. So sick. Greek Solo RPG said some really, really nice words, and it was very nice of them to say this. It really means the world to me. So I really just kind of wanted to point it out. And a lot of you guys agreed, because it actually got 8 likes. It's one of the most liked. Oh, I didn't like it myself. I better get over there. And 9 likes. It's one of the most liked comments on that episode. So thank you so much, for real. And of course, we got to shout out Oracle's comment, because they're a channel member. Cutthroat McGill. That's right. Great friggin' watch today, man. You rock. Dude, friggin', yeah, dude. Sick. Hell yeah. Nobody panic. We set and sail. Climb the rigging, hoist the sail, secure the turtles. Sea turtles, mate, sea turtles. That's some arcane Dean. Heck yeah, long-time viewer. And Don C said, Turkman, son of Room in the comments, tell me how much I love this. So I just became a member. Also, I bought the Oracle card, so your link. Please make Benjamin a reoccurring NPC name. Just like forever. Through like every series we do, there's gonna be a guy named Benjamin that dies. That's really good. But also, Don C, welcome to the couch crew, brother. Hell yeah. My goodness, just such nice words from all you guys. Two-Pecker Pete. I love that name a lot. We'll talk about that more in a minute. You used my suggestion. I didn't. The dice rolls did. Yes, Steel Baines. It was the dice. Mark them aligned. Okay, so there's one other thing I want to point out. I didn't make a roll chart for the home cove. I didn't. I just still couldn't think of a good one. And you guys had some great suggestions, but I couldn't think of a real good one. But Pineapple Neko came in here and said Davenport. And I Googled it. Davenport is a synonym for an old school couch. And that's crazy to me. Because when I think Davenport, I think think about it like that. But yeah, so the name of Perry's home cove, we're going to put it in his backstory. It's going to stay there forever, is now going to be Davenport. So thank you so much for that suggestion. Had to point that out. And I had no idea that was a synonym. So yeah, until I Googled it. So sick. The homework section had a tidbit that was helpful. So it's, Simon said that. So I've always called them homework sections, even when we used to do live streams. And so I really got a chuckle that you also did it in quotes as homework. I don't know why, it just kind of feels that way way to me. Like, here's what we need to review, you know, it's fun stuff. Oh my goodness. Lots of good stuff. The Black Patch and Hard Nelly for the pirate name. I think I got that in the roll chart as well. Lax Gangrel. Cheers. Hell yeah. Part of the couch crew. A part of the couch. A part of the crew. It's really funny to be able to say that now because I've always said that, and we're doing a pirate campaign, so it actually fits. All right, so let's talk about roll charts a little bit, shall we? Just a little bit. All your guys' suggestions. So here we are. We have the Pirate Roll Chart episode 2. All right, I've been updating it. So the ones that we used in the last episode, I took off. I used one of your names and you suggested a new one, I just added it in there instead and I put it at the bottom. All right. So for example, oh, here it is. DL Baines right here. Mark the Maligned, right? What is up with my focus? Hold on, let's fix it. Okay, it looks a little bit better. Yeah, Mark the Maligned right there. All right, very good. And actually, you guys threw in some more suggestions after I had already printed this. So I went in and did it in pen. There's a couple more additions on there. So this is the pirate name roll chart for here, episode 2. We're going to be using this pretty heavily. Secondly, there's a ship name roll chart right here. We actually went past 20. So here at the very bottom, I actually added in Angry Pirates right there, the Salty Pollywog. So if we use one, then we'll add in yours in that replace, all right? But I wanted to write it down so I didn't forget. And I also want to say, if you do add in a name and I miss it because, you know, I've already printed things or whatever it is, just do me a solid and re-add the same name, if you've seen that I missed it, into the next episode's comment section so I can see it again and get it in there, all right? And, you know, I'm one guy, we're doing our best. We're doing what we can, all right. Secondly, we have that whole ship name roll chart right here. And I feel like this is just great for ship names because ships are going to come up over the course of this story, this campaign, even after, okay? Ships are just going to be happening, especially if we ever return to PirateBorg. And that's why I wanted to do it that way. But I looked through all of your names, your name suggestions, and these are the ones that were my favorites. I even wrote down the Davenport thing right there so I wouldn't forget. These are my favorites. The Quilted Sail, the Leech Slayer, and Barbara. Those are my favorites. And before we even, and honestly, in our intro, Perry the Pirate might have said it already, but we're actually going to do the homework now. Before we even do our opening scene, we're going to roll for our ship name, all right? And these are just my favorites. Ones that I really like, well, that's sick, you know? So, ones that I enjoyed. But who's to say this is going to be our only ship forever, right? You never know. Now, we also have our Session 1 notes. So, every week I'm typing up important scenes and things so I don't forget. And I'm actually going to put them all together. And I'm going to keep them together pretty much forever. So, all these things I'm printing out, I'm going to keep them together in case after this little Down Among the Dead campaign, we return to Perry in the story. I'm going to have these and keep these forever, right? So, here are all Session 0 notes and our Session 1 notes are right here. Last time, the shipwreck discovery, we met Drake the Dreaded, we had a conflict with Benjamin, and then we did the Three-Eyed Parrot reading. And the important thing from that was Toothless Tommy came out of the patron, right? And Toothless Tommy was one of the name suggestions from you guys. Heck yeah. Now, before we make any dice rolls, we must light up our candle from Cantrip Candles. Yeah, it's very exciting stuff. If you guys remember, they sent this to us for the purposes of using it on this campaign, and it's a piratey themed candle that has a metal D20 on the inside of it. And once we get down to that metal D20, we're actually going to be able to use it and roll it. It's going to be sweet. I really hope that it's fantastic. I'm sure it is. Okay, candle is lit. Hoist the sail. Light the candles. Now, before we roll any dice, cheers, friends. Thank you so much for joining me on the show. This is episode 2. I'm having a blast. I hope you are too. I just love rolling dice and telling stories, so thank you so much for joining me on this adventure. It means the world. Cheers. And no, I didn't have rum, all right? Besides, if I were to drink rum, I probably wouldn't make it through an episode, so we're not doing that. But why is the rum gone? Because it's too strong. We can't handle it. Okay. Oh, also, before we roll our dice, the maps we're using today. Yes, if you're interested, okay? Not a sponsor, but the maps that we're using for our backdrop stuff today came out of the map library. All right, they did not come with the starter set, but we will be using more starter set maps as we play. But for now, the 2 maps that we have on the table came from the map library. Library, okay? I always say library. Don't kill me. Just the way I was. Okay, let's get out our D4 and let's roll for our ship name. The name that will be our ship, the first ship that Perry ever built. He built it with his own 2 hands in a bunch of driftwood. And when they finally set sail and they were out there for, you know, almost a day, Perry was sitting with Drake the Dreaded and he said, you know, we must come up with a name for the ship. What you say while we eat our octopus together? If you remember, we come up with a name together. What you say? And they sit and they debate and they came up with a whole roll chart of 20 names, but then they finally cheersed and settled on, put it right here, let's see. What did they settle? 2, the Leech Slayer from Vodoli 3019. Nice. Perry says, I think we must collar the Leech Slayer. We do be hunting vampires, don't we? And Drake says, aye, the Leech Slayer it is. I think while they're out there sailing, I think over the side of the ship, this patchwork driftwood fucking ship, Drake hangs over the side of the ship and paints in like white crude paint over the side, the Leech Slayer. So people know the name of the ship as he rolls in. Hell yeah. Now, before we even get to Charlotte's Cove, because that's where we're headed, I want to do a little bit of scene building here of us on this boat, right? Just to set the vibe for the episode. I think it'd be fun. On the deck of the ship, you can see there's a little fire that they've built, and they've been cooking away at this octopus, this crazy alien octopus. These boys have just been eating it to survive over the course of the sea. I picture it's been a couple of days travel from Davenport over to Charlotte's Cove, all right? And we're coming up on the last bit of the trek, so you can see that the octopi has already almost all been eaten. And these two are running around on this ship because it takes 3 people to run the sloop, but there's only 2 of them. And Perry isn't that experienced yet, but I think that this pushes him to learn quicker, right? Which I really enjoy the narrative of that. So like Drake the Dreaded is telling him what to do and pointing him and how to run the ship and do the stuff, and Perry's running around doing all the extra. So this is actually pushing him a little bit to learn how to be a better sailor, right? And the whole time Perry's being careful to not fall off the ship because Perry is afraid of the depths, okay? He's afraid of deep, dark, deep down water because he can't swim. He's afraid of it. So he's doing his best not to do that. And they're running around the ship. He's showing him what to do. And we could hear the water, the waves. Whoosh, as we're coming up on Charlotte's Cove, we could hear it. And these two are just sailing away. And as they see it, they start to sing and happy, I think. They're like, we finally found Charlotte's Cove. And so they're like finishing up their last bit of octopus and maybe a little bit of grog they might have taken with them. They're finishing it up and they're like, what do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunk sailor? They're singing together. They're happy. They've made it all the way to Charlotte's Cove. And the waves, they eventually roll in real slow. And the Dreaded's like yelling at Perry, like, pull the rope, bring down the sails. We must stop, bow the anchor. You know what I mean? Before they just crash into the docks here, because it's just 2 of them. And it's not, I actually want to roll against DR12 to see how gracefully they roll into Charlotte Cove. So we're actually going to roll that to see how well this goes. If there was enough people, I wouldn't roll on this, but since we've got less people, let's roll. That's an 18, so he actually manages it. We roll in real good. We kind of just did scene, task, action. We kind of just did that. That wasn't my intention, but we did it, so nice. All right. Now, I think before we fully get off the ship, before we're greeted by people that are gonna talk shit about our boat, about the Leech Slayer, all right? I wanna go over here to Charlotte's Cove in our Down Among the Dead book, and I wanna read some descriptions, because I think that Drake the Dreaded has been here, and he is probably, he's probably describing to Perry what this place is like. So we actually have our whole Charlotte's Cove bit here, all right? I don't want to get all of the details because we are playing this a little bit solo, but what do we got? Commerce. Drake the Dreaded says, Charlotte's Cove be a little poor, but they do sell in fish and rum, though last I heard the distillery in town wasn't running right. They'll buy anything, but they're poor, so we won't be selling much here, Perry. So as they roll in, the ships in port are 2d6 fishing vessels, so we can see how many other ships are in the port. We roll our 2d6 here. That is a 5 and a 5. Okay, doubles. Roll for an event. No. There are 10 fishing vessels, dinghies, rowboats, every few weeks. The maelstrom moors in the bay and the crew comes ashore. But we're not saying that's happening today. So there are 10 fishing vessels and dinghies and rowboats here. They are a mix of European settlers that long for a peaceful life, fishermen, sailors, and farmers. So arrival protocol. The harbor master deserted weeks ago. No fee, paperwork, or enforced procedure. So no one even is like, sir, you must pay. We've got nothing. But let's roll the rumors here. We've got a D8 section for rumor. Oop, the dice are in the box, so I'm going to say that totally messed that up. Let's hit it again. 2. The Dreaded says, they're poor here, but what I will say, the jungles of St. John are filled with all manner of outcasts and vagabonds. There's even a legend of a man-eating ape out there somewhere. And Perry's like, man-eating ape, you say? Well, we better eat him first. Is that what I would say normally? Is a pirate, do pirates eat apes? He's like, no, we don't eat apes. We'd kill him, take his head. Okay, fair enough. So here we are at Charlotte's Cove, and I have this here this little map out, just to think about us arriving here on the cove, right? It's a little bit of a visual, we like that. So one thing we didn't actually talk about during the homework section is our goals for today's episode, right? So our actual goals, which we should go over now,
are to find Toothless Tommy. He is the treasure hunter, the ex-Maelstrom crew member, all right? That's who Toothless Tommy is. And when we did the fortune reading, we were told we need to meet Toothless Tommy because he's going to be like our patron. He's going to tell us more about the Maelstrom, right? And how to get it and everything else like that. So we need to go and find Toothless Tommy. Additionally, here in Charlotte's Cove today, Perry wants to recruit, 4 people-ish, all right, to join our crew. And that's what our roll chart is for. That's what our other charts are for. We're actually going to be rolling up and recruiting some members
to join the Leech Slayer crew. What say ye? You want to join up on the Leech Slayer?
So it's our secondary goal. But first we must find Toothless Tommy. And if I remember right, I can't not do the voice sometimes. Toothless Tommy was O'Malley, right? Toothless Tommy is an old, angry, and unpredictable person. Former crew of the Maelstrom, but from before Albric inherited, and they hate spiders. But they are also looking for some. So potentially, Toothless Tommy is going to join our crew. Now, here at the bottom, also, there are a bunch of locations as to where to find these patrons. But I don't necessarily want to know exactly where we're going to find Toothless Tommy, right? But what I do want to do is bookmark Charlotte's Cove, so I don't have going back and forth. What I do want to do is I want to start exploring. And first we're going to start at G1, which is the docks. As we arrive here, I think it's during the day, so slow, hot, and crowded with seagulls as we approach here. There are merchant and fishing vessels. Someone is missing, and that's kind of it. And we don't really know the people that are missing because we're playing solo, but it does say here that there's a person here who has lost their dog. His dog, Rudder, is sad and hungry. Also, actually, we will see a dog as we get off the ship, and there is a fisherman by the name of Keyshawn. He's a West African. He is frantically looking for his daughter, Bacco, who captains her own boat. She didn't come home last night. And if I remember right, actually, I think Bacco was linked to the 5 of clubs. So if we ever draw the 5 of clubs, that is actually Perry's brother who will die in the prisoner deck of cards. So, and that's linked to Bacco. So we're not even going to do the little Bacco side quest here, but what we will say is we step off the boat and Perry looks down at this dog and he's like,
"Oh, hey Drake, I've never seen a dog before. Is that a dog? I've heard tales. I've been told by me father what a dog is."
And Drake is like,
"Yes, that there is a dog."
He's like, "Oh, cool." And I actually want to see if maybe we could reunite the dog with its owner, because its owner is a prisoner aboard the Maelstrom. And so I actually want to roll here. We'll do presence, which is +1, and Perry's going to try to give the last piece of octopus to this dog and be like,
"Follow me there, Pooch. We'll go together."
And we're going to add a dog to our pirate crew, because that sounds awesome. So first name suggestion from you guys in the comments, the name for the dog, and even a description of the dog. Maybe what kind of dog is it? I love dogs, right? So you should know that. We've got the roll for treats thing here. I'm a big dog guy. So let's roll for dog. Roll for dog. Can we +1 presence? We'll make it easy because we give him the last of our food. So we'll make it a DR. Shit, that's a 2. Okay, scratch everything I just said. Wait, should we use our Devil's Luck right now? I think we should. Let's go to Devil's Luck to make sure that we do it correctly. Oh, we have our reference. So we can use 1 point to deal max damage or to re-roll any die roll. So we're going to use one of our Devil's Luck points to re-roll to animal handle this dog or to tame this dog.
All right, here we go. Hurrah! 12, that's what I'm talking about. +1 makes it a 13, so the dog agrees, but that takes our Devil's Luck down to 2. Here we go.
Oh, and we did level up Perry because he did the ship thing and escaped Davenport. His HP went up to 15. His strength is now 0, and we got Rope Monkey just as a quick one. It's basically just a skill that if he does an acrobatics before he attacks, it could be successful automatically. It's kind of cool. So like if you're swinging off some ropes and then stabbing some fools, I thought that would be a cool little action thing we could do aboard the Maelstrom later. All right. So the dog. What does Perry call the dog? Should we roll for pirate name? I think maybe we should, just to say like, what does Perry call this dog? We don't know its actual name. Well, it says Rudder in the book, but we could call it something else. So let's roll our D20 and see if the name we roll makes sense. Kriegel does make sense, but I did ask you guys for the comments what like a good dog name, a good pirate dog name. So I think Jason Ross, we're gonna save your Kriegel name for something else, and we're gonna let you guys comment what a good dog name would be. That's what we're gonna do. But I do want to add it to our thing. Pirate's dog. I just read Mad Dog at the top of the list and just thought that it would be fun to roll real quick just to think about it. Okay. So now, if we look at our map here, we actually have G1, right, which is like the docks right here, this little area here. And then we have G2, which I'm assuming we're gonna go to directly next. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of remember that Toothless Tommy was at the Driftwood Distillery, but that's kind of where I want to head anyway. Excuse me, because I kind of want to recruit people at the Driftwood Distillery, and we'll talk about it, okay? So we're gonna go right over here to 2 Driftwood Distillery. And this is kind of fun because I think it's a good example of using source books for your solo adventures. We're kind of just using all these thematic cool things and, you know what I mean, the extra little rule bits and stuff, right? Like, this is obviously not designed for solo, but we can kind of theme it that way. Like, oh, we're gonna go to this location, what do we see there? And then we can kind of build our scene and our stuff off of it, right? And I think that's fun. So G2 Driftwood Distillery. So outside, as we approach with our newly found dog, of course, Perry's like, oh, you're coming with me, right? We're walking up, it's us, the dog, and Drake the Dreaded. We can see our patchwork ship at the docks, and I feel like we can see some folks looking at it and inspecting it and going, you're the elite, does that say Leech Slayer? What does that mean? I was like, I don't know, we must have some new folk in town. Hilarious. Okay, so outside, benches, a steep shingled roof, large metal tanks attached to the rear of the place. So that's kind of what we see as we approach. And as we walk up and we open the doors, you know, and they creak open, we can see inside exposed wood beams and candlelight. And the mood in here is somber. But I think Perry is so excited to be here. He walks right in and he's like, my fellow pirates! I'm a pirate now, right, Drake? He's like, sure. He's like, good to see y'all! And everyone's all somber and sad because, you know, the Maelstrom just came through here and kidnapped a bunch of friggin' people and everyone's missing somebody. Anyway, the barkeep is Miriam, 20 silver, British, depressed, malnourished, irritable, but prompt. She sells bland rum, watered down grog. The distillery hasn't produced in months due to missing workers. They do have a surplus of fresh lemons and lime. There is a distiller named Christoph, a buzz. Captain Anne Blackwood went missing, and our patron is in here. O'Malley is in the corner, telling tales about their time crewing aboard the Maelstrom before the Albric Heritage. So, I think that being said, we're building out our first scene, so we're gonna go up the top, and we know that Miriam is back there. And I think, honestly, I'm wondering how important Miriam is gonna be to our story. That's why I'm wondering if I wanna roll for her pirate name instead of Miriam. Someone can be the barkeep right here. I think that's kind of fun, actually. Let's go ahead and do it, because we have 20 names. We're only gonna be recruiting like 4 people to our crew, so we want to use these names, I do anyway, as much as I can. Oh, and since we're setting up here, we're gonna move our tokens. This map has been here the whole time! Underneath, it's just another kind of scene map. It's not as themed, I don't think, but we're gonna set it down. And currently, we're not really using these for battle tactics, these maps, but I like to use them as backdrops, like themes and stuff, so that's what we're using it. And this is kind of like a fancy bar, beach bar, but... So, let's roll to see what Miriam's name is instead. Maybe it'll help us with some descriptors. We got a 7 right there. What is 7? Let's see. 7 is Becca the barmaid. Wow, how perfect is that? How perfect is that there, the Mad Tatter? Because that's the Mad Tatter suggestion. So Becca the barmaid. That is so perfect. We approach. Perry does. This is our task, right? To talk to this lady to get some information. And as we're in, Perry approaches. Well met. Is that what they say, Drake? Yeah. He's like, no, I'd probably just say hello. You know, well met's weird. Don't be cringy, Perry. And he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, hello. It be me, Perry. Well, what's your name? Look, lower your voice, please. As you can see, the place is a little somber. We haven't made grog in a while. We're a little low, and everyone knows it, and a lot of people done gone missing due to the Maelstrom and everything. So, please, lower your voice. Let's relax, okay? And Perry goes, oh, all right, sorry. Look, I'm here to, I'm looking for a man. I think it's a man. Could be a beastie. Drake nudges him. No, it's just a guy. Oh, could be a man. By the name of Toothless Tommy. You heard of him? And I think at that point she goes, actually, I want to roll a presence here for Perry to see if she just right away tells him, or to see whatever. So this is actually going to be our action here to see if she just right away tells him. 14, very good, because we actually have a +1 in our presence, so that's a 50. So right away she just goes, yeah, look, Toothless Tommy's off in the corner. We don't have a lot of drinks, but as me, Becca the barmaid, we do have a lot of lemons and limes. So if you fancy some lemon water, let me know. And Perry goes, oh, what a sad day. Why is the rum gone? And Drake nudges him and he's like, no, dude, no. We don't actually say that. He goes, oh, okay, okay. And she points over to Toothless Tommy, who is in the corner. And as it said, Toothless Tommy Tommy in the corner, telling tales about their time crewing aboard the Maelstrom. So it's somber in here. So I imagine that even we arrive during the day, I want to feel like there's clouds outside because it said there's candlelight, right? And like it's real dark around, even though that, you know, we're like setting the mood a little bit. Like it might rain, it might not rain, we don't know. And everyone's kind of just sad. And these two are going to go over to the corner where we're going to see old Toothless. And for this part of this scene, he's going to be a pair. He's in the corner. And we walk right over to him. That's going to be our resolution and transition. She tells us where he is. We walk over to him. And now we're kind of in the middle of scene and task here. And as we approach, I feel like Toothless Tommy is in the middle of telling a story. And we can actually use some more flavor text from this here book because we actually have history. So we'll go with last week. That makes sense to me. He says, I feel like my pirate voice is the same for everything. All the pirates are going to sound the same. They're all just going to be raspy and say yar a lot. Anyways, he's like, he's got no teeth. So he's like,
reports flooded in. There was a demonic warship with blood-red sails that had been pillaging our settlements, taking prisoners, leaving hundreds in its wake. Rumors point to an island here near...
Oh, well, that's literally what's happening. Okay, let's back up. He's telling tales. What tales? Okay, we'll do 20 years ago. And he's in the middle of the story and he's like,
while we were there, visiting Edward Crow's grave near Innsmouth, Albrecht met Elizabeth Parker, a girl from the nearby village of Salem. And of course, they were quickly betrothed, and she introduced him to the fundamentals of arcane sorcery. While Albrecht was at sea, Elizabeth, you see, was executed for warcraft at Gallows Hill. And upon Albrecht's return, he exhumed her corpse and vowed to resurrect her. His crew, now of course a mix of paraplegic vampires, or pelagic vampires, they all plundered Salem. And at that point, I left his crew. I couldn't be a part of it anymore.
And he finishes that story, and as he says that, we approach, and Perry's like,
oh, Albrecht, you say? Well, seems I've come to talk to the right guy. Are you my guy? Depends, guy. Who are you, guy? Or, depends, guy. Who are you, guy? Well, I'm your buddy, guy. You're not my buddy, guy. You're my dude, guy.
So anyway, so he's old and angry. We got to remember that. He's like,
who are you anyway? Well, I'm Perry the Pirate, and well, I've come to find advice from you. Well, it's a long story, but there was this weird spirit guy who came out of the sea and dealt me some cards and said that I needed to come to you because you're gonna help me. And he goes, spirit guy, who are you? You don't seem like any kind of pirate. Perry's like, well, I know I don't have a cool hat yet, but I started dreading my hair, and I'm trying to be a pirate, okay? He's like, fresh blood then. Perry's like, yes, you're fresh blood, right? So I need your help there, Toothless Tommy. We've come a long way, and our goal here is to take down Albrecht in the Maelstrom. That is our goal, but I don't know how, or where he is, or anything like that. And Toothless Tommy goes, well, I can help. You see, I know where that place makes burp, but it's gonna take a lot more than that to take down Albrecht. You're gonna need a crew. Have you got a ship there, Perry? Yes, I've got a ship, and I'm here to get a crew. It's like, well, good. Here's the deal. I'll tell you where it makes burp, and I'm not gonna come with you, because I don't want to have to do this accent the whole time throughout the story. I've already found it kind of but I'll give you 5,000 gold, or 5,000 silver for killing Albrecht. I'll give you 500 silver for each vampire you kill, and I'll give you 1,000 silver if you can return my friend from aboard the ship. And Barry goes, oh, your friend, huh? Why? What you need? What's that for? And he's like, well, my friend, he's really not a friend. It's kind of a nemesis, but he's on board, and he has me treasure map. I need it back. He's like, all right, what's his name? So all of this, by the way, I'm just reading directly from here. I know it was a big old weird improv narrative session we just had, but so he will pay, right here it says in the book, for all of this. So after this adventure, Perry's gonna actually have enough cash to be, to get stuff and be a real pirate, right? Which is kind of the cool thing. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, because this is like a coming of age story, right? If he manages to succeed anyway. Now, it also says in here that we need to pull a card and determine the rank for the exact VIP that he wants back. And since I don't necessarily remember what the rank was of that card, we're actually just going to pull another one, and that's what's going to determine it. And then this rank card is going to be important because this rank card is going to go into the prisoner deck his potential VIP could die. Exactly. So we got a 6. So 6 is Stizgith, a deep one war priest who has a sail dorsal fin, and he wants to become a vampire. So Stizgith is spelled S-T-Z-Z-Z-G-T-H. And what we can actually do, because I hate that name so much, instead of Stizgith, but we're going to remember that that's number 6. All right, number 6. Let's write that down.
actually going to roll on our pirate's name roll chart instead. Yes, that's right. So who is going to be Toothless Tommy's patron? Let's get it. That's an 8. No, Nosferatu. Okay, from Carmilla Dawn. Nosferatu. Very good. Nosferatu. So it's still a weird ass name, so he could still be a drowned one. It's weird how that worked out. Okay. So I think at that point, when he tells him the name of the guy, Perry's like, okay, we're going to do our best. We're going to find him. We'll bring him back to you. And I'll let you know when Albric's dead. And Toothless Tommy's like, I'll be here. And I think he's also might give us a little bit more information on maybe where to go next, getting the artifact and the spell and other kinds of stuff for our other cards we pulled. But first he says like, you first must assemble a crew before I'll even trust you with the rest of the information, you know, kind of thing. So we're going to do that next. Heck yeah. So Perry is going to go back to Becca the barmaid. And he's gonna say, so I've got some information that I need. I've met old Toothless Tommy, but my next plans, you see, Becca, you may be able to help old Perry. I've been looking and, I'm looking for a crew. I need about at least 4 guys, and I'm trying to find a good place to be able to recruit them. Seems to me that this place is kind of dull, and Toothless Tommy ain't much helping you. He ain't gonna join the crew. But is there a place maybe you think that I could set up a table and yell about recruiting people to the ship, see if it attracts anyone? We're gonna go and take down the Maelstrom, so we need the strongest and piratiest of pirates. Is that the right word to say, Drake? I don't know anymore, Perry. Okay, so that's what we're gonna say. And we have a bunch of locations here, but I want to roll straight up, honestly, a yes or no to see if Becca will help us at all, right? First of all, I think Perry, probably looking at this map, I think the best idea would be to set up in front of the Driftwood Distillery with like a table, you know what I mean? And like a piece of paper, like, come and join me, crew, you know? But I straight up just want to see if she'll be helpful in this task because she might not even let us. So here's our D8. Let's see. What is that? That's a 5. So is she helpful? Yes, but okay, so she is helpful, but she says that we can't set up here. Immediately what I'm thinking. She's like, yeah, look, you could take one of me tables. That's not her voice. She's like, yeah, look, you can take one of my tables and a chair. You could use it, but you can't set up here. I'm just real sad because wait, who went missing here? Captain and Black Hood went missing. Maybe they're connected. Also, I don't know. The other distillery people are just gone. So she's like, I don't want all the commotion in here. And she's like, I just can't deal with that. So you could take my table and my chairs, just bring them back when you're done, and I'll help spread the word, okay? If anyone comes in, I'll tell them where to find you. And we have a bunch of locations here, but honestly, none of these look like a good place to set up. So I think maybe the best idea is to go back to the docks, Magistrate's Homestead. The Chalice is an ash den. We have the Careening Cove, which is like a homeless place where a bunch of fanatics live. We have an abandoned house, Hurricane Hole. We have the lighthouse that's been dark for a long time. The Three Queens Orphanage, the monastery, some booksellers. Yeah, so we're gonna go back to the docks. Like, we might have to explore a little bit more of this stuff, but for now, Perry's like, fine, we'll go in front of me ship. I'm proud of it anyway. And thank you so much, Becca, for your time. And he points at Toothless Tommy and he's like, I'll be back when I have a crew. And he's like, good, I'll give you more information then. Stupid. Okay, so we're gonna set up our next scene now, is what we're gonna do. But first, I'm thirsty. Cheers, mates. So these two are gonna carry the chairs and the table, probably some old, worn up, beat up chairs, out to the docks, like the front of the docks, I'm assuming, right? We can see our ship in the background of us, but we're probably gonna be like way up, like, you know, like on where the docks are, like where they meet the ground, you know, so people can walk up to us and see what the heck the commotion is. We set up this table. I think Perry, what does he have? He doesn't have like any gold, does he? Like not at all. He's got nothing. I don't know how he will attract anybody, but while they're there, he's probably got his fishing pole out. He's gonna be doing some fishing, right? You know, while they're just waiting, right, for people to come by. And the cool thing about this, in all of these locations, you can see these little hearts next to these names right here. And all of these locations, these little heart folks have like connected people that have gone missing, right? And so whenever we're gonna roll to see which one of you guys as pirates are gonna join the crew. And then we're actually gonna base your pirate off of some rolls and off of who you're looking for, because your missing person is going to be on the Maelstrom. And that's why you want to join the crew. So what I want to do now is I actually want to roll a yes or no question to see how long it takes for the first person to arrive, and if we need to move, if we need to do anything else. And this is going to be a part of our scene building here. So does someone walk up and arrive right away? Are they eager to join? And we're going to roll a yes or no. Whoops. That is a 7, so yes. Someone walks up right away. Goodness. I do a lot of talking in these episodes. I had to wet me whistle. Sorry about the grumble. I do apologize. I always try to cut them out in the editing. Sometimes I miss a couple. All right, but yes, someone is eager right away to join. So first we're gonna get a name, and then we're gonna draw a card. We're gonna see who they're attached, right? And then we're gonna fill out their details a little bit. So first, and then we'll do a little bit of dialogue after we build them out, because maybe they don't even want to join, you know, or maybe Perry don't want them. But first, we're gonna build them out, and this is a big part of today's episode. So we're gonna roll here, and if I get a name we've already gotten, I'm gonna roll again. But here we go. Who's the first person to approach old Perry as we're sitting here out on the docks trying to recruit folks? That's a 7. We already got it. That's crazy. Let's roll again. That's a 2. Magnus the Merchant from Ghastly Pompano. Magnus the Merchant. And whom is Magnus the Merchant attached to? So we're gonna come over here to our fate card, our prisoner card. Who is Magnus attached to? That's a 6 from earlier. We draw again. That's a queen, Captain Anne Blackwood, brash, sinister, and wary, matted dreads, and an excellent fish. She's in love with or entranced by a vampire. Captain Anne Blackwood. Where is she from? I feel like she's actually from I feel like we just read it. Captain Anne Blackwood is actually from the Driftwood Distillery. She went missing from her ship's cabin yesterday. Everyone fears that it was vampire. So put this together. Magnus the Merchant, huh? He's attached to Captain Anne Blackwood, so who we potentially could roll for a new name for as well if we wanted. I love doing this name thing. I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. Me being able to use your comments and suggestions, I hope you're enjoying it, because it's cool for me to be able to take a story and kind of like make it our own together. It's just sick. Anyway, so she's attached to Captain Anne Blackwood, which makes sense to me because we were just in the Driftwood Distillery, which means he was probably in there and he's seen us leave, and so he's going to come out to see what the commotion's all about. But I want to roll a little bit to get a little more information about it. And we're going to do that by using this here roll chart. Yeah, it's very exciting. This is a D20 roll chart. So we already know his name. What is his role? It says the merchant, but the merchant could be what he strives to be, you know? Let's see. What is his role? That is gosh, I can't see it. A 3. He's a cultist. Okay. Which makes sense because Captain Anne Blackwood apparently might be, you know, in love with a vampire or something. So maybe those two used to be, you know, a little bit together or something. I don't know. Motivation, 17. Hunger. Appearance. What does he look like? 15. Filth. And what is his secret? Tell me he has a mop. My goodness. Give me that mop. Nope, it's a 6. Okay. Part of a crew. Oh, he's secretly part of another crew. Well, he's probably a part of Captain Anne Blackwood's crew. Maybe he doesn't tell us. So maybe he doesn't even tell us who Captain Anne Blackwood is. He doesn't even tell us that that's going at. He doesn't tell us at all. He's secretly a part of her crew, and he doesn't tell us. Interesting. So we're gonna, as well, we have a pirate generator. We're gonna generate his class and everything so he can become useful in the final battle on the Maelstrom. But for now, this is his information, and we're gonna put it all together later. Hopefully, I'm also, like, if you guys want to use the character sheets I generate, I'm hoping to be able to put them on like a Google Drive link or something that I will include in the final battle episode, so you can download them and use them in your games if you want to, or just look at them or whatever, especially if I use one of your names. That might be interesting. Okay, but I'm also going to assume he's a little bit of a merchant, so maybe he does at least strive to sell things, so maybe he's real charismatic, but right now he's down on his luck and he's dirty. And Magnus follows us out. We set up our table and Magnus is like, "Hello, I heard you were going after the Maelstrom." And Perry's like, "Yeah, we are indeed. You be a pirate wanting to join?" And he goes, "Well, I have my own reasons as to why I might want to go after the Maelstrom. As long as you are comfortable enough with not knowing why, I will join your crew. That be your boat?" "Yar. Ain't she a beaut?" "No, definitely not. But I will help man this boat. Do we get a cut to the pay after we, well, kill Albrecht?" I think Perry goes, "Well, of course. The captain always shares his plunders." And Perry goes, Magnus goes, "Oh, the dreaded man isn't the captain, but you are?" Perry goes, "Yes, yar indeed. I be the captain." "Well, fresh captain, fresh blood. Hopefully, this goes okay. But you have me, and you have my sword, Perry. I am Magnus." And Perry goes, "Well, welcome to the crew. Grab up a seat. Feel free to go and check out the boat." And he goes, "All right." It's so funny. Okay, I almost forgot to write down 6 over here for Toothless Tommy's VIP. Oh no, I did. Also, the heart on this, if you see the bottom down here, it says their relationship to you. So the relationship to Magnus is that they are a friend, loved one, or romantic interest, and we're going to say romantic. So he thinks that his love has been taken and is now being persuaded by a vampire. But she's entranced by a vampire. Rumor has it that she secretly wants to become one. All right. So as we sit here again, does someone also approach right away, right? Does it take a little while? Do we think we need to move or go somewhere else? Let us see. Let's roll. Yes or no question. Does someone else approach fairly quickly? That is a 5. So yes, but what? But what? Maybe we could flip a card for our butt here. It's not an event or an encounter. We'll go yes, but we're gonna go on ahead and it's weird that I'm rolling and I could be using yes or no questions here. I absolutely could be. I just haven't been. It's weird to me that I haven't used these cards as much as I thought that I needed to. I think I just know this system and this setting well enough that I haven't necessarily needed them. But anyways, let's get some keywords for the but and let's flip a card. Yes, but we have sustenance and a crack of thunder. So maybe it is a random event. Sustenance, remember I mentioned that Perry has his fishing pole down in the old water? So maybe as this person approaches, there's a crack of thunder and then his fishing pole goes all crazy. That's interesting to me enough to say, okay, let's roll on our fishing chart to see maybe what in heck. A crack of thunder and sustenance. So someone does approach, but there's a random event for fishing. So we're actually going to test presence. So we're gonna do, which is a D20. We have a +1 on this. Let's beat a 12. Here we go. That's an 8, which makes it a 9. So we failed our presence test while fishing. So we instead fish up something else. So it's a D12. Let's see what we pull up after a crack of thunder. What does that mean? Here's our 12. 6. A random Sigua toxic fish. If eaten, tests toughness or suffer diarrhea, vomiting, numbness, dizziness, and weakness. I don't think we're going to eat it. A random Sigua toxic fish. There's some really cool stuff on here. So actually, to make it narratively make more sense, a random toxic fish with the flash of lightning. That's not fun. Let's roll on it again just to see. Another fishing hook. Something. A deep one. A siren is trying to fish you. Oh shit, that's cool. I actually like that a lot. Another fishing hook. So we don't pull up a fish, we pull up a deep one. A person, right? A siren. And that's who this person's gonna be, is gonna be a deep one or a siren. I love that a lot, actually. We're gonna recruit a siren to the crew. So they've heard of us taking out the maelstrom. They've been well listening. So they're pulling on our fishing line and we go over and we look down in the water and we see this person. Let's build them out. What is their name? Oh, it's Staraway Magnus. What is their name? If it's a guy, like a masculine name, we'll make it a deep one. If it's a feminine name, we'll make it a siren. Can't see what it is. That is a 7 again. Here we go. That's crazy. We're rolling 7s. 4. Oh, we actually have a couple options here. Poop Deck Pete, because this is all from Cassius Scorpio. So I'm actually going to roll a D4 now to choose from their suggestions. That is a 4, which makes it Jilly Buckets. Cool. Jilly Buckets is gonna be a siren. I must rule check real quick to make sure that we're allowed to do this. So I think it's totally gonna work. It's gonna be fun, and it's totally gonna work. I think that Jilly Buckets the siren. She's gonna be like half cursed. Like something to do with the maelstrom has her half cursed. But we need to roll on some more stuff to kind of, fully put that into play a little. So first of all, let's pull their card. Jack. Brother Mergus. Brother Mergus, a monk, dangerous, cursed, ties to the wretched. Has very scared and in shock, and he is a heart, which means friend. So Jack. Okay, what about some more information about Jilly Buckets? Back to our D20 here. What is their role? Well, obviously they're a siren, so we're not going to roll on their role again, but their motivation. 17 again. Hunger. Now we're going to roll that one more time. 1. Reputation. What is their appearance? 2. Homely or bland, and they are secretly undead. An undead siren? Secretly undead. They're already so magical that I want to roll for it again. I don't want to double up on 19. Secretly addicted. What, to ash? 6. Secretly addicted to ash. Remember in the first episode, I was like, I really want to get some kind of an ash person, an ash salesman, because I want them to be able to roll on the ash roll chart down here. Super sick. We pull them up and there's immediately singing. There's a lightning that comes as we pull up our fishing hook. And up from the fishing hook comes this bland, I think blonde-haired looking siren, right? And so she's like kind of spectral almost in a way. And she sings to us. She doesn't talk, but she sings. Like, I really don't want to sing. I don't want to be too cringe here, but are you looking to go to this maelstrom? Yar we are. We're going to the maelstrom. Well, may I come with you? Well, it's kind of weird. What be your motivation there, siren? I am Kurt. The one that I love has been taken. And he goes, oh, okay. So you're trying to get your old man back. Look, maybe we can do that. Brother Mergus is actually just an ash dealer, and she has like persuaded him to give her ash, and she's just like, trying to get him back because he can go on land and get the ash back. You know what I mean? How is this gonna work there? Also, what's your name? My name is Jilly Bucket. It's so funny. She's like, I will float around the boat. Come aboard when I need. He's like, okay. Odd, but I'm into this. Shall be a weird crew, but welcome aboard the crew there, Jilly Buckets. I am your Captain Perry. You follow me lead and we'll be just fine. And don't play any weird fucking tricks on me, alright? And I think she just winks and then probably sinks back into the depths. That's fun. I love the idea of that a lot. Okay, we're gonna do one more, and then I'm actually gonna roll to see if a fourth person even shows up, all right? That's what we're gonna do. Gosh, that's fun. But that's why we pull them cards sometimes, you know, because we never know. Okay, that was a lot of fun. Now, let's roll again to see how long it takes for someone to show up. If we get a no at this point, it's just gonna be like nighttime for the last person to show up, and then we'll see if we can get another person. Oh, and at the end, we'll roll to see if there's a random event. Because I have an idea for a random event, but we'll see if that actually happens, right? So, how long does it take? Well, let's flip a card instead of rolling dice. Let's do that. Well, we're gonna call it 50-50, so it's gonna be the center one. 50-50. How long does it take? Flip. Yes, so almost immediately, so still here during the day. Someone approach. What is their name? 13. Alistair Snake Telford from Skirticus 13. Nice. Alistair. People just call him Snake. We're gonna put Snake. Immediately just went right to Metal Gear Solid. That's where my brain went. Immediately. Okay, let's pull a card to see whom he's connected to here. That is a 9. Who are you connected, bud? Wincott Angleturn, Lighthouse Keeper. He's got a hook hand, limps, he's loud, and he looks for his son. Bleeding out of one ear, and he's very confused. Wincott Angleturn. Oh, and we forgot to see Brother Mergus. We could actually see where they're from here on the map, because maybe we can get a little bit more details from them. So the Sirens person is Brother Mergus, who's from the monastery. So at the monastery, there's only half a dozen monks that remain, and they are all holding a vigil for Brother Mergus. Sounds to me like Brother Mergus got, absolutely got caught up in something that he didn't want to get caught up in, especially if he's dealing with ash and siren shit. So, sheesh. It's crazy. Okay, Wincott Angleturn, obviously from the lighthouse. He's the keeper. The lighthouse hasn't worked since last week, but has been dark since. A logbook on his deck mentions several sightings of the Maelstrom. The last entry is a week old, so a week ago. Snakes, what is this? Clubs, they know important information, like the location of treasure, political intel, or the whereabouts of a dignity. What info? So Snake wants to find the keeper, Wincott Angleturn, because he has information, and I'm assuming he has this journal. All right, Snake, what are your attributes here, bud? What is your role? 10. Your role is that you're a drunk. Do we want a drunk aboard the ship? Snake walks up. He's like, look, I've got a book. And you know what? Yeah, he's gonna be the drunk. I like it. Just because it's fun character build, He's a drunk. What is his motivation? 16. What does he want with this treasure? Adventure. Okay. What does he look like? 2. Homely or bland? We already rolled that. I said it again. Is that a 1 or a 20? That's a 20. Okay. Natural 20. He's got a huge hat and a feather. That's cool. And lastly, what is his secret? Can't see it. 10. He's a pirate. Yeah, well, that's not a secret. 13. He hates Perry. Okay. Secretly hates the Perry the drunk that hates Perry. Snake walks up. Hey, how's it going? Hey, looking Perry's like, come again there? What's your name? They call me Snake. One of my friends do anyway. I don't know if you'd be a friend, but maybe him. Points at Drake, and Drake's, I don't know you. Look. I'm looking for a guy who's from the lighthouse. I've got his journal, and his journal says that he may have been taken to the Maelstrom. I want to go on an adventure. And I've got some experience, right? You can tell by my big hat and my feather. I've got a lot of experience, and I think I'd be a good fit for your crew if you'll have me, of course. Harry's like, first of all, you're suspicious because this here cove doesn't have very much grog left, and I don't know how you managed to get drunk on grog if there isn't any. You've been drinking all the dang grog there, Snake? Well, maybe I could have had a stash, something. You never know. I actually kind of like your jib. It's a fun extra accent for us to add into the story. So you're welcome aboard, Snake. Let's you'll be a good addition, if not cannon fodder. Come on, get on the cannon fodder, you say? And as he walks away, he mumbles under his breath, fuck that guy. He's gonna try to kill me? You the fuck? Son of a bitch. And Perry goes, I don't really know about that guy. Well, we've got an old filthy merchant, a siren, and a drunk. What a crew. And a dog. And he pets the dog. Can't forget about the dog. So does a fourth person appear while they're packing everything up and getting ready to leave? I guess a better way to do this is actually to do a random event. It's actually the best way to do this. So at the end of this scene, we're transitioning to take everything back and wrap everything up. We're going to start at the top of our scene here, and we're going to say, is there a random event that might give us a fourth person? And also, I'm still debating on re-rolling all of these names of these prisoners. Just know that, everybody. So if your name hasn't gotten taken yet, it might stick. All right, there's a re-roll here. Is there a random event? 8. Yes, and okay, insane random event. Let's roll again. I already have an idea, okay? But let's roll again to see if it comes true. So we have our events list here behind my head. We're gonna roll on this event list. 5. Faction arrived. That's not at all what I was thinking. Oh, could work though. Could work. It's not going to be the Maelstrom faction. Let's go over here. So, if we think about Charlotte's Cove, the way that Charlotte's Cove is run right now, there's one magistrate and a local militia that are both kind of useless at the moment. I think as we're packing everything up, this random event is the magistrate shows up with a couple of the local militia to see what the hell is going on. And the magistrate, if we go to G7, is Henry Reed. He's in his late 40s. He's newly overweight. He has gray hair and he is despondent over his missing wife. Oh, so he approaches. I think everything goes quiet. The drunk snake is like, the magistrate's come. Be careful. And the siren just goes right under the water, just like, fuck all that shit. And Magnus is just like, yeah, okay. And Perry stands there and he goes,
here, hello there, magistrate guy. Yo, good to see you. Nothing to see here. Everything is fine. Don't even worry about it.
and the magistrate is like,
look, I'm not here to stop you from everything that you're doing, okay? Seems to me that you're going on a quest to the Maelstrom, and I've come down to a point where I might need the assistance of a pirate. Are you a pirate?
And Barry goes, Drake? What do I say yes? And he goes, yeah, man, you want? I don't know. And he goes,
yes, indeed, I am Perry, a pirate. Good to see ya.
And he holds out his hand, and the magistrate, Henry, shakes his hand and whips up his sleeve real quick to see if he's been branded yet. And Perry has no brands on his arm, right? Because he's just a humble fisherman, right? And he goes,
must be a new one then, because you don't even have a brand, huh?
Haven't been a part of the slave trade?
And Perry goes, for the slave trade? What is that? I don't know nothing about none of that. Look, I am just off on me own. I want to go and take down the Maelstrom because they have me brother. Okay? That's it. So can you just leave us to our business?
And the snake goes, yeah, man, we'll just leave us to our business. Okay? Everything's fine. And the magistrate goes, look,
Perry, I'm here to make a deal with you, okay? I don't want to be a part of your crew,
however awful it is. And he looks at it's a drunk and a dog and a siren. And he's like,
however awful it is, but it could be to me that a misfit band crew like you might just be the ones that we need. I have a proposition for you.
Proposition?
Yes. You see, I believe that my wife has been taken by the Maelstrom. And if you bring my wife back here alive, I will give you 20,000 silver. Of course, that being said, if you defeat Albric and bring back my wife, both things. If you just bring back my wife, I'll give you 5,000, all right? But he's been plaguing my seas and harming my people, and we can't have that. So, do those both, and I'll give you 20,000 silver.
And I want to go look real quick. We got to pull out his card numbers to see what it is, because that's going to go into our thing. Catherine Reed. It's not in here. Catherine Reed, 107. It should be. Oh, there it is. The magistrate's wife, a talented dancer and loving mother of 3. Dehydrated, sad, and tough. Okay, and she is the 10. And then Perry goes,
your wife, you say? So if I save your wife and kill Albric, you'll give me 20,000 silver.
And he goes, that's correct. I know you pirates like money, so what do you say? Do we have an accord? And he shakes his hand real hard, and he's like,
accord has been had. Wish me luck.
And then I want to know, does he send us off because what would not match up this crew perfectly other than a random city guard? My goodness. So I want to know. I'm going to call it likely, so I'm going to roll 2d6. I'm going to take the higher roll, or 2d8, sorry. Actually, we can flip a card if we call it likely, can't we? The odds are good. We're going to flip a card, and we're going to see if he goes, as a little bit of a fail-safe, I would like to send one of my guard with you on your quest. And we're going to flip a card here. Odds are good. Yes! Cool, so he does say that with an exclamation point, which means yes, and. So I think he's also going to say, like, let's ask another question. For the and, does he also give us maybe some food to take with us on our quest? Yes, he also gives us some food. So he's like, you're gonna take him and one of the crew. And who is this city guard we're gonna be taking with us? Let's roll up his name. This is our 4th and final crew member. 19 is Jim Bonesucker. And Jim Bonesucker is going to be the one connected to Catherine Reed, right? So we're not going to roll for that again, pull another card. But we are going to see a little bit of their role. I think it's going to be military, straight up. But let's see, that's a 10. We already have the drunk, so let's roll again. 16. Soldier. Fair enough, they are a soldier. Their motivation is obviously to work for the guy, but maybe they have their own motivation. Is that a 16 again? It is. Adventure, we already got that again. 15. Exploration. What do they look like? 7. They are massive. Oh, they're a big dude. And what do they secretly have? We already got 13. Again, 3. They've died once. So he steps forward and he goes, hello, Perry. I am Jim Bonesucker. Happy to be part of the crew. And I think he's just so fucking massive. He's holding a barrel of fish. And he walks it off and sets it on the ship. So cool random event thing there. We love that. Fantastic. So we have our 4 crew, 5 with the dog, and with Drake the Dreaded, of course. That makes 6. So Magnus the Merchant, Jilly Buckets the Siren, Snake the Drunk, and Jim Bonesucker, the town guard for Charlotte's Cove. And each one of these guys are connected to a prisoner, an NPC on the ship. And I really do want to just switch off all of their names so we can use some more of your guys' names. So we're just going to roll again to do this. So for the first one, instead of Captain Ann Blackwood, we have Nero, and we could do Nero Blackwood is what we're going to do instead of Nero Cian Corinian. And this is from Matthew Eaton. So Nero is actually going to be the prisoner instead. And then instead of Brother Mergis, we're actually going to change Mergis to something else. It's going to be Brother Bartholomew instead of Barnacle Bart. That's pretty good. From Robert Height, Brother Bart, very good. And then instead of Wincott Ingleturn, we've got a 16 here. It's Hard Nelly, who was the lighthouse. Hard Nelly. And then instead of Catherine Reed, the wife, it's going to be, we just did 15, so let's roll 7 again. Sheesh. We've already had Jim Bonesucker. 3. Instead of Catherine Reed, how about Catherine Reed's nickname is going to be Chumbuck? How about that? That's fucking hilarious. Okay, there be our crew. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type it up. I'm going to make it look pretty. We'll get some more descriptors going for them. I'm actually going to, before the final battle, we're going to get actual character sheets for them. Probably some like small, simple ones. They aren't going to be fully fleshed out, but something we can utilize and actually use, right? But this is Perry's crew. And I think at this point, me wet me whistle. Perry brings around the whole crew. As Jilly Buckets comes out of the water, I think for sure, like, Bone Sucker gets, there's a siren. And Perry's like, nah, that's fine. That's just Jill. Oh, okay, all right. And he brings around the whole crew, and he's walking back and forth on the docks, and the ship is behind him. And he's like, listen here, crew. You've joined up the crew of the Leech Slayer. I am your Captain Perry. We 6 are going to be going on a very tireless, hard mission together. We will be adventuring together. There are some things we must do, but by the end of this quest, we will have killed Albric and stopped his plague from ruining this side of the Dead Islands. We will take him out, and we will save all of the seas. We will retake back the sea, and we will have it once again to be free. Who's with me? And I think all of them are like, here! Actually, let's see, instead of just assuming, let's roll a presence to see what everyone thinks of his speech. That's a 19 plus 1 is a dirty 20. Yes, everyone's like, yeah, they're all excited and shit. They're all like, hell yeah. They're happy as hell. So all of them begin prepping up the ship, and Perry's like, but me and Drake have one final thing we must do. There are some information on some things we must learn today. All right, before we can go on our first quest. So all of you stay here at the boat, make yourselves comfortable, get familiar with the Leech Slayer. Look, you must be gentle with her because she is not, she is fragile. Be gentle with her. And they are going to go back to why is the name of it just totally spaced? The tavern, what do they call it? Here we go. The Driftwood Distillery. When they get in there, I think he goes to Toothless Tommy. He tells him we have a full crew. We're ready to go. It's about nighttime now, at least almost, like the sun is setting. And Toothless Tommy is going to tell them about the item that they need to get, the Pina La Corona, right? And I know that we have from our thing, if I remember right, I've got stuff. That's why I always try to clean up after scenes, but sometimes I forget. It's fine. So look at all the names we used. There's only a couple left. Okay, our potential clue for the artifact was drowned beneath a sea of bone. And I looked a little bit, not gonna lie. Drowned beneath a sea of bones means that it's somewhere on the maelstrom. But what I want to do is I actually want to randomly roll to see where Toothless Tommy says that we might find it. And then we're gonna see if we can find it there. And if we can't, then we know for a fact as a last resort that it is on the maelstrom. Because I want to go on a quest with the crew, and I want to see if we can get this thing. So there are a couple locations in this book: the ruins of Wibbly Abbey, the sanctum of Fallbreed Tree, Brine Hollow, and then lastly is the Crow Island, which is where the Maelstrom makes birth. Also, there is the Wreck of Defiance. Let me see. Can the Wreck of Defiance have the artifact? It can. So we have 3 options here: Ruins of Abbey, Sanctum of the Tree, and Brine Hollow. And so I'm actually going to roll a d4, and I'm going to see where he wants to send us, because I haven't read anything about these places, so they're still kind of a mystery to me, but I want to explore at least one of these locations in our actual play. So where is my d4? There it is. Where did just Toothless Tommy send us? The 4, which means roll again, because we don't have a 4th option. 3! Okay, so Brine Hollow. Can it actually be? I'm just looking for anywhere where it says the artifact, because it will say it. It does, the artifact. But it looks to me, actually, this is a town of drowned ones, and it looks like the artifact, if it is here, is just sitting as an offering somewhere. So actually, let's do 1 and 2. I don't know, let's do one of these other 2 locations. That's a 4, so we'll roll again. Is it 1 or 2? I guess I could flip the coin. Nope, that's a 2. All right, so we're going to the sanctum of the Felbred Tree. And I'm not going to read anything extra on here, but what he says to us is, you must go to an ancient shrine and statue, home of an orangutan sorcerer, located deep in the mountainous jungles of St. John. Sporadic stone monuments lead the way to its entrance. There, you will find an item that will help you take down Albric, the Piña La Corona. That's what he said. And it's actually at St. John, we can see here on the map. So that actually means we're going forward a little bit more in our ship. So that's where we're going to go together in the next episode. And hopefully we might get into some encounters or something. Here's what the deep ones look like. I might actually put together their simple character sheets before next week if I can, just so if we do get into an encounter, we can actually use some of them. There's 6 of us though, so using all 6 would be a little bit tough. So I might actually pick and choose depending on the situation of who is with us and what's going on. So just be aware of that. I think like a 3 or a 4 is a max for me playing solo. After that, I'll just get lost in the sauce. So, but for the final big battle, we're gonna have to use everybody. So we'll do them all. So he gets his information from Toothless Tommy, and he's like, well, thank you, Toothless Tommy. I'll be back with Albric's head. And hopefully, I don't know. I might see you before then, but we'll see. And he goes back out to his crew and back out to his ship where he pets the dog, of course. And he says hello to everyone. And he says, tonight we rest. In the morning, we set sail for St. John. So rest up, me hearties. And I think we use the fire pit on the ship to cook up some fish and hang out and get to know each other a little bit. And I love the idea of the siren kind of like taunting the city guard a little bit while that's happening, and you know what I mean, these guys are all just kind of congregating with each other, drinking the last of the grog that they might have, and I just love that. So that is our crew, that is our episode. Nice. I know today's episode was mostly just building out a crew, you know, really that's all it was, but that's what I wanted today's episode to be. I wanted to use all your guys' name suggestions, which we did. We still need a name suggestion for the dog though, so please add in a name suggestion for the dog. And I will say the names that I didn't use, I'm going to remake up these roll charts. If anything comes up in the future in any of these books with any names, we're going to roll for more names, all right? So if you have another suggestion, please leave it below. If you have more ship suggestions, leave it below, because I'll keep adding them to the chart, and then we'll just roll on that bad boy if we ever need another ship, or says we probably will. This is a pirate adventure, right? But, my lovely bunch of coconuts, that's where we're going to end today's episode, I think. We've done what we need here in the town. There's a lot of other places to explore here in this town, which I think is super sick. If we do another campaign of PirateBorg, we're going to explore these locations some more, because Charlotte's Cove just seems super sick. So keep that in mind, and that's it. That's it for us. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Let me know what you think, and thank you so much for supporting me over this adventure. And I'll see all you guys for episode 3 next week. That's right, on Friday. I'll see you then. Cheers, everybody. Yar har har! Hoist the colors!